Welcome to Diagram Dazzles, a platform which enables you to draw biology diagrams easily with simple tricks. For today's class, let us begin with anatomy of flowering plants, which students generally find drawing baffling. Yes, so here is a NCERT Dicot Root T.S. which I'll be briefing. So you can see the various layers there in the ground plan which gives you the overall picture. Starting from the epidermis, cortex and innermost is the stele. However, for the exams you will have to draw a part highlighted in dotted line. So this part is enlarged and then detailed in the NCERT textbook. So you can see the various regions extending from the epidermis to the centralmost pith. This diagram I'll be detailing with help of my diagram that is specifically more clear and then distinct. So we start with the epidermis, which has the unicellular root hairs followed by the cortex, which is wide, and the tissue there is parenchyma. Innermost layer of cortex is endodermis, characterized by the Casparian strips, and then comes the heart of any anatomy, that is nothing but the stele. The outermost region of the stele is pericycle, followed by the xylem and the phloem, which shows in radial arrangement, that is, they are arranged in separate radii. And of course, xylem, there are 4 vascular bundles, so it is called as a tetrarch. The surrounding tissue is conjunctive tissue, and then centermost is the pith. So this is a diagram which I'll be teaching you with simple tricks. What are the tricks? First one, always draw outline comprising of an arc, a circle and a cross. Remember this. Following this, we develop association. What is association? So when you should look at the stele, it appears like a diamond stud. The xylem representing the diamond, hexagonal ones, and then the phloem, cluster of them, and endodermis, a diamond circle. Yes, and of course, finally do the detailing with all the labelings intact. So first, when you begin, draw outline, and that is very important. So draw outline which is very light and start with a light arc. So this arc should be just around 4 to 5 centimeter in length. And of course, keep 4 centimeter gap, and below the arc, draw a circle. So this circle should be around 3 cm in radius. Remember, drawing 3 cm radius a minimum is very important. At the center, draw a xylem which is represented by the cross. Now we are going to develop on this outline. So start drawing with the epidermis, which is made up of barrel-shaped cells in line. Draw it over the arc which you have already drawn. So next, draw the root hairs, which are tiny and unicellular structures. Both the epidermis and the root hairs, draw it little darker. Next, come to the endodermis, that is the circle which you have drawn. Draw similar cells which are barrel shaped, and then draw it in line with the circle which you have already drawn as an outline. Next, start with the Casparian strips. As you can see, you have to darken the cross walls, and it will look like a railway track. So complete this across the circle, and it has to be drawn distinctly thick and dark. Once it is done, the entire endodermis will be very distinct. So this is how you see it. Next, go ahead drawing the metaxylem. What is metaxylem? The largest xylem which will be formed later in the life of the plant. So here you will have to draw it hexagonal. Remember the diamond analogy which we began earlier as we developed the association. So draw it hexagonal, and then, or it could look like a benzene ring for you. Yes, so draw 4 of them, keeping the central region open. Next, continue the same with the next part, that is protoxylem. But remember, as you draw the protoxylem, the size of the xylem goes on decreasing. That is very important. So you can see the central ones are larger, the ones towards the edge will be smaller. Next, develop on the secondary lignin wall. This is very important. The secondary wall, which is made up of lignin, has to be drawn parallel, darker and also hexagonal. It has to be drawn inner to the primary wall which you drew it earlier. Yes, once it is drawn for all of them, you can see the diagram coming back to the life. After that, draw the pericycle. Pericycle is very thin walled single layer, so draw it likewise with a gentle touch of the pencil. Till now you drew the epidermis, endodermis and the xylem with the pressure of the pencil. Now draw it with a gentle touch of the pencil. Once you have drawn that, draw the phloem. Draw it as 4 humps of tissues alternating the xylem at the 4 corners, as you can see there, and then fill them with polygonal cells. The polygonal cells, some of them you will have to dot it representing the sieve plate. Yes, so fill in all the phloem like that, and once you are done with the phloem, start with the conjunctive tissue. So conjunctive tissue, draw it like the phloem, but can you see the difference there? It has to be drawn with a gentle touch, a light pressure on the pencil. Once you fill in the entire conjunctive tissue, remember, leave a small gap at the central core which we are going to fill it with the pith. So pith has to be drawn again with oval cells with a gentle touch of the pencil. So once the pith is completed, the pith is in parenchymatous. You can see the stele is complete. Next, go back to the cortex. In the cortex, draw the similar parenchymatous cells, but here you'll have to draw it larger. And then the trick to draw the cortex is that keep variation in the size of the cells. Some of the cells larger, some of them smaller, and the orientation of the cells. Cells standing, sleeping, etc. Yes. So when you do that, the intercellular triangular space is easily drawn, and this is how your diagram is highlighted. The beauty of the diagram lies in managing the pressure on the pencils. Some places dark, some places light. Epidermis with the root hairs drawn dark. Cortex, parenchymatous drawn light. Endodermis, Casparian strips drawn dark. Pericycle light. Xylem, protoxylem, metaxylem with the inner lining drawn dark. Pith, conjunctive tissue drawn very light. Phloem, of course, keep it little darker. So this is how we complete the Dicot root in TS. It's an easy diagram to draw with the tricks. Once you're drawn, applaud yourself, share as well as give it a like. Thank you for watching.